The long and devastating conflict spreading across the Middle East may be entering a new phase. A 10-day ceasefire has officially started in Lebanon, bringing a momentary halt to intense fighting between Israel and Hezbollah after weeks of heavy bombardment and civilian suffering. Thousands of lives have been lost, homes destroyed, and entire communities displaced as the brutal war linked to the wider Iran conflict continued. This temporary truce in southern Lebanon is not just a pause in the violence. It comes at a critical moment in larger efforts to end the broader war involving Iran, the United States, and their regional allies. U.S. leaders, including former President Donald Trump, have publicly expressed optimism that a peace deal with Tehran could be close, signaling the possibility of renewed peace negotiations in the near future. The ceasefire itself took effect amid scenes of cautious relief. Families in southern Lebanon, many of whom fled their homes during intense bombardments, have begun returning to cities and towns once engulfed in fear and destruction. The Israeli government, which had been conducting airstrikes and ground operations against Hezbollah positions, agreed to the truce after mediation and pressure from international actors seeking to stabilize the region. However, the truce remains fragile. Although the deal was announced as a 10-day ceasefire, neither side has fully committed to long-term peace yet, and isolated violations have already been reported. Both Hezbollah and Israeli forces remain on high alert, and diplomats stress that this truce is only a first step in a far more complex process.
The broader context of this ceasefire is the ongoing conflict that erupted after the United States and Israel carried out massive strikes on Iran earlier in the year, including the killing of key Iranian leadership figures. The war quickly expanded to include not only direct confrontation with Iran, but also clashes involving Lebanese militias like Hezbollah. What makes the current situation even more significant is the diplomatic dialogue taking place behind the scenes. For weeks, Pakistan has played a role as a mediator, hosting talks between U.S. and Iranian representatives in Islamabad in an effort to negotiate a political settlement. U.S. officials have indicated that Tehran may be willing to make concessions, including limitations on its nuclear program and other security guarantees, as part of a broader peace agreement. President Trump's statements about a potential peace deal have injected cautious optimism into international markets and diplomatic circles. Global oil prices have dipped slightly on hopes of de-escalation, reflecting the world's sensitivity to stability in the Strait of Hormuz, a vital oil shipping route near Iran. Yet analysts warn that peace remains uncertain and that months of further negotiations could still lie ahead. Despite these diplomatic movements, the human cost of the war has been staggering. Thousands of civilians in Iran, Lebanon, and across the region have been killed or wounded, and the infrastructure damage is severe. Humanitarian organizations continue to call for extended ceasefires and greater support for civilians caught in the crossfire. As the 10-day ceasefire unfolds, many are watching closely. Will this temporary peace hold long enough to pave the way for broader negotiations between the U.S. and Iran? Could this be the turning point that ends months of bloody conflict? Or will violations and mutual distrust undermine the fragile calm and plunge the region back into violence? These are the questions shaping global attention in this pivotal moment. What is certain is that the world is watching closely, hoping this ceasefire marks the beginning of a real and lasting peace.